Watercolour Challenge, the programme that challenges 4 artists to capture something beautiful in the British landscape in just 3 hours.
We've scoured the country in search of the finest views.
You like it?
Yeah,
love it.
To put our amateur artists to the test.
I am totally frustrated at the moment.
And see if they can capture...
Gosh.
Against the clock.
Come on, push to the finishing tape. Well, that's what they used to say at games at school, anyway.
That special magic.
Do you want your picture in a painting today?
Without a train.
That makes Britain great.
It's just a privilege to be here. Look at it.
And all in wonderful watercolour.
I think that looks pretty amazing. This marina is part of the Royal William Yard, which was Plymouth's naval supply station and was built in 1831. These buildings are some of the most important historic military buildings in Britain today. And at the moment, they're being transformed into a picture-perfect place to live, work and relax. But the big question of the day is, can our artists turn this into a perfect picture in 3 hours?
Our 4 artists competing to be crowned winner of today's Watercolour Challenge are 68-year-old born and bred Eastender Ken.
Right, watercolour. I went through a list meticulously to make sure everything was there, but who knows? I could surprise myself. I thought I forgot my brushes there.
Kathy is 60 and an NHS anaesthetist.
I've got quite a lot of stuff here. That blank piece of paper is really scary. How ridiculous is that?
Ashley is a 55-year-old ex-firefighter.
Once I get drawing, I'll get into it and I'll have a bit of a plan then of what I can do.
And 37-year-old Faye is a part-time illustrator and full-time mum.
Tried to get the most delicate masking tape, but it's not even sticking. This is the first hurdle of the day before we've even started, before we've even sat down.
They'll have just 3 hours to try to capture the stunning scene before them. Judging today's winner and offering some expert advice is our professional artist, Lisa Takahashi. Lisa teaches and writes about art, and her work has been shown across the UK, including at the prestigious Royal Academy.
I think it's time we met our 4 crazy artists who are taking this challenge on. Your first impressions?
Well, it's a beautiful location. I love this building here, but there's a lot going on.
And how do you think you're going to capture this in 3 hours?
Just work quickly and then add detail at the end, I think, just to try and have something.
That sounds a bit loose. If you need any help, any of you, then we have Lisa, our expert, standing right here. Lisa, what do you think about this location?
Well, there's so much going on. You've got all the textures of the cobbles, you've got these big, majestic buildings. So what I would be looking for is a really good drawing that gets all the angles just right. And try and inject your painting with that sense of history that this place has, and you won't go wrong.
Well, there we are. That all sounds very simple, doesn't it? You've got 3 hours to capture all of that. So, paper, paint, brushes, everybody primed, ready? You've got 3 hours and the clock starts now.
Seasoned watercolourist Ken loves to create vibrant and dynamic works of art, although he rarely tackles landscapes.
You've got an imposing sense of history here. How am I going to capture that? I'm obviously nervous, but yes, I'm quite confident I can produce something.
Sleepy landscapes and wildlife are Kathy's usual subjects, the perfect antidote to her high-pressured job in the NHS.
I'm just doing a couple of tonal sketches, trying to work out that, but also just trying to work out what I'm going to put in my painting and whether I'm going to have it as a landscape or not.
Faye's background is in textiles, but she's been painting since she was a little girl, with mermaids a speciality.
I'm normally doing lots of feminine forms, so lots of curves. So all these angles, definitely a new challenge for me.
He's only been painting seriously for 3 years, but Ashley usually enjoys tackling impressionistic urban scenes.
I'm working quite fast, it's quite loose, it's quite scruffy, but what I'm trying to do is just trying to put some shapes in there, so it's really just deciding on the composition that I want.
In front of our artists is the main marina at the site, so we've got all sorts of water traffic coming in and out. We've got the imposing limestone and granite buildings, pavement cafes and tourists, industrial relics, and a very beautiful clock tower, although the clock does appear to have stopped.
So, Lisa, they'll have to focus on something here, won't they? Because it's such a huge location.
It's a real symphony of textures, shapes. There's all these dynamic angles and perspective, and the architectural features, lots of windows here. So there's a lot to choose from.
What about the pitfalls and the challenges that they could face with all of this?
It's going to be difficult to be selective. So each painter will have something that they will feel inspired by, and the key is to just stick to your convictions and paint what interests you, and don't feel that you have to put everything in.
We might need to tell Ashley.
I'm spoilt for choice here, so I like the angles of this building on the left and the way that it disappears with the perspective, but I also like the crane, but I don't want to put the crane in the middle, so I'm trying to put that 2/3 left. But I also want to proportionally try and capture that tower to the top right as well.
All our artists are starting with sketches before they begin their painting proper. Ken has come armed with a little trick of the trade.
It's such a huge image. There can be a load of clutter. So what am I going to paint? This helps. This viewfinder cuts everything out, just a little aperture, and you're able to work out a composition, what to exclude, what to include, what makes a good painting, how the elements come together, how you can see them, all because of this little thing.
I think I'm pressing a bit hard. Oh, it's brittle. Broken. Strange. Right. Here goes. Blank piece of paper.
Well, artists, it looks like you're getting on really well, but do you know you've already had 30 minutes? 30 minutes has gone.
30 minutes already!
So, with the pressure on, can our 4 artists create a winning watercolour?
Yeah, 30 minutes is, it goes quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is quite challenging, actually.
Or will it prove a painting too far?
All to gain, all to lose, isn't it, at this point?
Welcome back to sunny Devon, where our 4 watercolour artists are competing to capture the winning image of this, the marina, at the historic Royal William Yard here in Plymouth.
They're now well into the first hour of their 3-hour challenge. While the others are busy with their pencils, Ken has gone straight to the paint, doing a series of watercolour sketches to figure out what he wants to focus on.
I'm finding that the subtleties of the stonework are coming out now, so that's a challenge I need to deal with, and to do that you need to play with certain colours.
Mum of 2, Faye, has also opted to feature the tower, foregrounded with elements of the marina.
I'm trying to really take my time to get all of the detail in that tower, because that's going to be my main focal point, and if I do a rush job it's going to look a bit wonky and shoddy.
More used to painting cityscapes, ex-firefighter Ashley is drawn to industrial detail, like the crane for his landscape.
Something like this is pretty challenging, so there's lots of lines, lots of perspective, so obviously I need to have a sound drawing before I kind of put some colour on, really.
I'm not the only one keeping a close eye on their progress. Today's judge is professional painter and teacher Lisa Takahashi, who's here to see if our artists are doing their location justice and to offer the odd tip. Lisa's art is exhibited at galleries across the UK. Her colourful, expressive work is influenced by Impressionism and Modernism in equal measure.
Kathy, what are you up to?
I'm just trying to get a relatively accurate building drawing because I think the buildings are really important to get right. The rest of the building quite impressionistic, I think.
Very good. What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how you start to apply colour. Will you be allowing some of the paper to show through, or are you more about layers? Or?
The watercolour to me is all about letting the light shine through in the colours. So I probably will be using some artistic license on the colour, to be honest.
OK, Kathy, well, I'm sorry, we're holding you up. Carry on, carry on.
I could do a breather anyway.
As a part-time illustrator, Faye's usual subjects are more fluid than structural.
I paint lots of flowers, lots of female forms in mermaids. This is Stella, she's my first mermaid. Yeah, quite fond of that one.
But today's careful architectural composition has caught Lisa's eye.
I think it's gorgeous how you've got these verticals that are kind of echoing one another with the masts and then the tower. But I am a little bit worried. What's going to happen on the right-hand side of the tower?
Not sure.
The great thing about working on paper is you can always crop it as well.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to turn it into a bit of a slice,
Yes.
then that's another option for you.
Yeah.
Oh, good thinking. OK, we're taking up enough of your time, Faye. Do carry on. See you soon.
Cheers.
Time is ticking away. Well, our painters are a blur at the moment, trying to capture everything that's in front of them. But of course, when the Royal William Yard was first built, the action in front of them would have been very different.
Named after King William IV, the Royal William Yard played a crucial role in Britain's naval fleet for over a century as a supply or victualling depot. It's thought to be the largest collection of Grade 1 listed military buildings in Europe. I'm meeting up with historic author Juliette Coombe to find out more.
Juliette, why was all this built in the first place?
Well, it was built to be a victualling yard, and it was an extraordinary place to come. They would be making barrels, they would be taking 100 animals, bringing them into the yard, slaughtering them, making them ready for meat to be taken on the boat. So it was a very exciting hive of activity.
At the heart of the yard was the impressive Melville building, which served as the main quartermaster's stores.
You just go to the Melville building and you'll be able to pick up yourself a new uniform or dried nuts or vegetables.
So it's like their supermarket?
I often describe it as a very posh Walmart, because you could come in here and get everything you possibly needed.
Melville and that area is, of course, where the artists are focusing on today, but what would it have looked like in its heyday?
Well, Melville was the nerve centre of the whole of the Royal William Yard. You've got this beautiful marina, little boats would pop in and out, they would pick up their goods, so there'd be exchange of news, and it was very exciting, and you feel that energy even today, because today it's obviously tourists popping in and out, people who live here, because this has been reinvented.
Going back to our artists, I mean, they're trying to capture something of the spirit of those times and the history of the buildings, but for you, what makes your heart beat faster about this place?
For me, I think it's walking through a very grand set of buildings, the grandest set of buildings in Europe from an industrialised point of view, because they're neoclassical. They use the Queen's clockmaker of 112 years to actually create the clock tower that we have here, so it's living history.
Well, if they can capture something of that, they will be doing very well.
Enjoy your time here. It's a very special place.
This really is a vista to inspire the hardest of hearts. But how is it rousing our four artists? Having finished his rough pencil sketches, Ashley started on his main picture, but he's worried the quantity of draftsmanship might eat up all his time.
It's just really the amount of drawing, I guess, trying to be accurate with the building, to give it a representation for when I put the paint on. So that's why you'll see me with the ruler, just trying to get some lines in there, because when I start painting, it'll be quite loose, but at least if I've got something to follow, it will reflect the building that I'm looking at now. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So we'll have to see if that works.
For Ken, painting the human form is where he feels most at home.
This is my home studio. My real passion is life drawing. It just touches something inside me.
Today he's been working on multiple sketches, but using paint instead of pencil, and he's still yet to start his main picture.
I've got a composition that I'm very happy with, so the preliminary sketches have worked through there. Tonally, I've still got to get the objects in the right tone, really.
The thing is, Lisa, about painting is, you know, things get the paints out, yes, I'll paint that. But it's actually what's coming from within the artist that transfers to the page, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So for you, as an artist, how would you approach this?
I would do my drawing and try and get my proportions right and my perspective. But then once I've done that, I'm going to really go to town with the colours. So what I'm hoping is by the end of it, they'll each show us a painting that we may not expect, but is this view, you know, with their lens.
Wonderful. We're expecting an awful lot of them, but they are getting on with it.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're getting stuck in. It's good to see.
Kathy uses art as respite from her busy working life as an NHS anaesthetist.
I think painting is all about being creative and creating something beautiful, and maybe that's why I really like it so much, and it's just like the complete opposite of what I do at work.
Today she's working in a landscape format and putting the building opposite very much front and centre of her painting.
Kath, how are you progressing then?
Well, I'm okay. I think I should have got going on the painting by now, I think, really. I've spent a lot of time on the drawing and I'm fussing around and wanted to get it right, but
yeah,
I'm reasonably happy.
One of the keys to our artists' success today is the ability to create a realistic sense of depth in their paintings. Today's expert and judge, Lisa, has some top tips to make sure everything is going along the right lines.
There's been an awful lot of use of the word perspective today. So, how would you start with it? Is it difficult?
Well, I'd say that the first initial drawing is so crucial to your painting. And what I would do is just establish where I want my horizon line. And I don't know if you've ever heard of a thing called the rule of thirds.
No.
But you position interesting elements on the third of the picture plane. So I quite like these masks, so I'm going to put those masks there, on that third there. I'm going to put my horizon line just off centre here.
Just a bit higher than the centre?
Just a bit higher, yeah.
And why have you chosen that?
I just want to get... I love the sky today, but also I love that the cobbles in the foreground, so I want to have the opportunity to celebrate both of those, so that will give me sort of even amount of opportunity there. And I'm going to put my building just off centre so that the clock tower is just off. It's just so much more interesting if things aren't perfectly centred. And then here on the side you've got the building coming towards you, and this is where the most dramatic sense of perspective is. So this line, this bit here, is not going to be in my final painting.
Ah.
But that shows, that's that point there, which some people call the vanishing point. Everything has to come from the same line.
Ah.
And it just means that you get the right sense of perspective.
Already, yes, I see. It's going off into the distance.
Yeah.
And so tell me how you found the vanishing point.
So my way of doing it is just really just finding one angle that you really sort of feel inspired by and what you want to capture. And for me, it was this side of the building.
Yeah.
And just extending it down.
Yeah. That's amazing, Lisa. Let's just hope that our artists have worked hard enough to give it that same energy, as you say.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll manage it.
They are over an hour into the 3-hour challenge, so they'll have to get a move on. Hopefully Kathy's finally happy with her drawing.
I'd like to start painting. I think I'm going to have to because I'm going to run out of time. Yeah, so this is the scary bit as far as I'm concerned, really. Like, do a plain wash of the sky, I think. Right, here goes. It's okay. Could be worse, could be better.
Faye, I see you're using a hake brush. Are you going to be using that for the whole of the painting?
No, I'm just going to use this for the washes, and then I'll use a smaller brush to go in for more detail.
A wash is an expansive colour that's applied evenly with a broad brush. Faye uses a special brush called a hake brush to apply her colour delicately.
I've got every faith in you.
Thank
Good luck.
you. Cheers.
Ken, sorry to disturb you. I'm just looking at this wonderful beginning, laying in of the colour.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving the colours. Will you be introducing any detail in
So,
this?
yes, there will be some detail, but it still will be loose, I'm hoping.
Okay. So, yeah, I think it sounds like you've got a good idea, but I would just be careful to get that right balance between detail and atmosphere.
Ashley once dreamed of going to art school, but decided on a career as a firefighter instead. He's recently reignited his passion for painting.
How long have you been painting? How did you find that you could paint?
So it's something I did as a child. Every Christmas we used to get tins of paints for Christmas presents, so it was something that I started as a young boy, really. And then I didn't touch paints for years and years and joined the fire and rescue service, and after I left it was something that I picked up probably about 3 years ago now and probably haven't stopped since. So.
Really? How much do you paint a day then?
So I'm drawing and painting every day, really.
And Ashley has just the spot at home to work on his watercolours.
Welcome to my studio. This is where I spend most of my time. So cityscapes is something that I've really got into painting in probably the last year or so. It is a bit of a contrast to 26 years, you know, being an active firefighter, you know, racing to fire incidents with blue lights. It is something that I really enjoy doing and something that I continue to do and I practice a lot.
Lovely artists. It's lovely to see you all enjoying yourselves, but you are now halfway through. You've got an hour and a half left. Good luck.
So will our amateur artists manage to make the grade?
I'm going to have to move. Work fast and loose.
Or will their watercolours be a washout?
I probably have bitten off more than I can chew.
Well, our artists have passed the halfway mark of their 3-hour challenge to capture a view of these beautiful historic Royal Navy buildings here at the Royal William Yard in Plymouth in Devon. Challenges they faced already. Well, they started with the sun low and they were all in shadow. The sun now has come out and it's beautiful and the lighting has changed, so that's giving them trouble. But they're attacking all of this with the correct spirit, the naval spirit, as they should have here. And they're all fighting to see who is going to be the winner of today's Watercolour Challenge.
NHS anaesthetist Kathy is focusing on the main yard building, but she spent lots of time on her sketch, which has held up her painting. And having finally got started, it hasn't gone smoothly.
I don't normally work in a puffer jacket, and because I was wearing one I didn't realise, I've managed to smudge my painting completely with it. But I guess because I work in a fairly impressionistic style, it's a bit smudging is probably okay. Unfortunately, I had to stop for a while when it's dried off, so...
full-time mum Faye has opted for a portrait aspect study of the clock tower. She's taken care with her drawing and first colour wash, but is she falling behind?
I'm feeling a bit worried that I'm not going to get enough detail in now, or go over the pencil work and then kind of lose it. So I'm just trying to do it very tentatively at the moment. I'm trying to add in a bit of darker colour and tone now to create the shapes so that these bits stand out a lot more, because otherwise it's going to be quite flat. But I'm a bit worried about the time now, so I'm going to have to get a wriggle on.
EastEnder Ken has worked his way through several painted sketches of the area around the clock tower, but now is well into his painting proper.
I'm starting to build the final tone, which gives the reality, which makes it look real. I need to work very fast here because I need to get the light on that building right. That's the fun of it all. See how the tones lift out? See how it makes the building look hopefully more convincing?
Lisa, their progress is really impressive, isn't it? Ken, for instance, has been rapidly doing colours, paintings, drawing, taking them off to some sort of preparation.
Yeah, painting in series, really almost painting to get into the rhythm or the flow of what he's doing. I think, actually, what we've got here are 4 artists that kind of represent the whole gamut of what watercolour painting can actually be. At this stage, it's really a crunch time because the paintings can go one way or another. They can either really sing, you know, if the artists really know what they're doing, it could just become a huge triumph. But if there's any, you know, if there's too much doubt and too much nervousness, it could just go into a bit of a muddy chaos.
Well, we're past the halfway point now. Is there anybody you're worried might not get there?
It's really a case of just watching and seeing what happens, but I am a little bit nervous for all of them, to be honest.
It's quite exciting, really, isn't it?
It's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
While some of the artists are making the most of the blue skies and colour in the scene, former firefighter Ashley is going a bit more radical.
Ashley, it's wonderful to see you laying in the colour as you were. Are you using just one colour at the moment?
Yeah, I've decided to go for monochrome.
Okay.
I guess with the whole kind of history and the feel of the dockyard, I just felt naturally that the monochrome would work quite well.
Yeah,
So I want to try and just kind of exploit the lights if I can, which will be the white paper.
Right, yeah.
And then kind of build up with some darks, which will kind to give some contrast and some counter change. So that's the plan.
Yeah, well, it sounds
and to
good.
keep it quite loose as well. So
yeah, and it's interesting seeing that you've got these 2 little pieces of paper underneath. You're just making sure the saturation's just right.
Yeah, so that gives me a bit of an idea before I commit to paper that I've got the rough kind of tones that I can kind of see. So yeah, I'm kind of having to kind of think about that as I go as well.
But it's looking fantastic. I can't wait to see how it develops.
All right, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
While Ashley continues in stark black and grey, Kathy is making good on her promise to use a bit of artistic licence and is painting the grey stone of these military buildings a fairly vibrant brown. But her smudging mishap has left her feeling the pressure.
I know you're at a bit of a critical moment, so I won't just carry on painting.
Just in case it dries.
If the wash of diluted paint does dry, Kathy won't achieve a seamless blending of colour.
How do you think it's going?
Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you after I've done this wash.
Right. Okay.
This is the bit at which it's at make or break, so...
Oh, well, I'll leave you to it.
I
Good
don't
luck.
know.
Ashley, do you think you're going to finish in time?
I'm planning to, I hope so. So I'm racing along now. You'll see me working really quick, but I don't mind that, because how about you?
Yeah, I'm trying to get as much down now as possible, thinking I had so much time, and actually it's gone really quickly.
I can see you've picked out the colour of the copper as well, with the green, looks nice.
Yeah, but that again's changed really quickly, hasn't it?
With the light,
changing.
yeah. So does that mean you're changing as it changes, or are you just going to kind of stick to what you remember?
Yeah, I'm going to try and stick to what I remember to get that clock tower looking...
And get some darks in on it. Yeah, it looks great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This former naval supply station is certainly testing the creative muscles of our artists today. But in the 18th century, Plymouth naval yards also boosted the talent of a famous British artist called Sir Joshua Reynolds.
Born in Plympton, near Plymouth, in 1723, Joshua Reynolds would go on to become one of Britain's most famous portrait painters. Historian Tara Walkup is a curator at Plymouth Art Gallery, The Box.
What a lot of people might not know is that Plymouth played a very important role in the early career of Joshua Reynolds. When Reynolds was around 20 years old, he returned to Plymouth after an apprenticeship in London under the painter Thomas Hudson, who was also from Devon. And it was here that he was able to build his first clientele. He set up his first portrait studio in Plymouth Dock, what we now call Devonport. It was a really smart move for him because there he had access to all sorts of the professional classes that were involved with the military and the Navy.
Reynolds could soon count some very important lieutenants and captains and their families as clients, who in turn introduced him to an even larger network of people, one of whom would go on to play a crucial role in Reynolds' career.
Commodore Augustus Keppel was the person who took Reynolds to Italy. At this point, it was really important for artists to be able to travel to Europe to paint the scenes, the sights, the scenery there. It was considered an important part of an artist's education. And Reynolds at that point, you know, it took a lot of expense to do something like this. And so here was not just the money to do it, but also the ways and means of doing it as well. Commodore Keppel not only just took Reynolds to Italy, but also introduced him to people there as well. So by the time that Reynolds came back, he was already on his way to becoming one of the most important portrait painters in all of Britain at that point, and he's only in his 30s.
By the end of his life, Joshua Reynolds was considered an equal to the great European painters such as Velázquez, Rembrandt, and Rubens, and it all started right here in Plymouth.
In a place that's inspired so much creativity, I just hope that our four painters will be able to capture some of that spirit.
I'm just trying to do some shadows, using a contrasting violet-y colour to do the windows, and then I'm just going to put some, I'm imagining where the shadows would be if there was sun coming down, and trying to bring out some of the architecture, really. Yeah, but we'll see. It's that time when it could all go horribly wrong.
Well, time's ticking away, Lisa. Who's doing well and who's struggling, do you think?
Well, I think they're all doing pretty well given the circumstances, but I do think that Kathy could be a little bit more confident in what she's doing. She's got a beautiful drawing there and she just needs to get a bit more confident with her brushwork. I think Ken's having a great time. He seems to just be reveling in the colour and just slapping it on in an actually, I make it sound really casual and slapdash, but actually, no, what he's doing is very atmospheric. And he's thinking about the picture as a whole, which I think is something that maybe all the others aren't doing. Faye, her delicacy in her painting is exquisite and her colours are jewel-like. They're really luminous and I love that. I love how clean and clear and spring-like it is, and I think that it really reflects on the day. And then we've got Ashley at the end, he's doing the monochromatic, and I think that's really atmospheric, but I'm not sure I connect with it being of today. I'm not sure he's capturing the sense of atmosphere that we have got here.
More technical. Sounds as if you're already sounding like a judge to me, so I'm going to go and give them a fright done. They've got half an hour left.
Okay.
Painters, you're on your last half an hour. 30 minutes left.
Will our four artists complete today's challenge in time?
Moves me to tears, this.
And who will be crowned today's watercolour winner?
There's going to be lots left unfinished.
We are here in the stunning marina at Royal William Yard in Plymouth. Our 4 artists are coming to the end of their 3-hour watercolour challenge, with each of them hoping to be crowned today's winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have 5 minutes left. Quick, do what you can, don't muck it up, make it better. You can do it. Come on, guys, you can do it. Ken, look at that. You're so confident.
Oh, you're kind.
Oh, it's lovely.
Thank you.
And I just think the colour attracts me all the time. What's worrying you? How much more have you got left to do?
The problem is, in watercolour, you can over-fuss and then you lose any spontaneity. And there's a byline, get in and get out quick, but I don't know if I've abused that privilege.
That's a kind
at the
of
moment.
SAS way of
yes.
watercolouring, isn't it?
So
Oh.
I've got to touch up a few more bits, but I don't want to overdo it.
OK, carry on, carry on. I haven't got long left now. Faye, the prettiness and gentleness of those colours reminds me like of an illustration. So pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Have you got much more to do?
I have. I don't think I've got. I don't think I'm going to get to the point that I wanted to with it, but I just want to make sure that it's recognisable of where it is.
Well, we better stop yapping and let you get on with it.
Thank you.
Lovely.
I definitely don't think I'm going to get the amount of work down that I wanted to. There's going to be lots left unfinished.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the last few seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Brushes down. Painters, stop. Congratulations. You've done it.
I think I'm pleased I've got to the end and I've produced a painting which hopefully represents what we've looked at today. Whether I'm pleased with it completely, I probably never am in my work, but yeah, I'm happy that I've got something which hopefully can be judged.
I'm quite pleased with how the general vibe of it is, but I could have done with being able to probably put a bit more detail in the foreground.
I just feel a profound sense of relief right now, and it wasn't a complete disaster.
It's amazing how emotionally draining it is, but I think I've got something convincing to say what I want to say about this building.
Now, I love them all, but it's up to our judge, professional painter Lisa Takahashi, to choose which artist she thinks has best captured this wonderful view to become the winner of today's Watercolour Challenge.
Now, this is Kathy's. Colour does it for me every time, so I love the water and those little boats, and also the verdigris on top of the clock tower is beautiful.
My only concern is that it gets lost around the edges. It sort of disappears into just white paper, and I wish that she'd made a bit more of the composition. It's all very face on, and if she'd done that, then that beautiful paintwork could have latched on to a more complex composition. It would have worked better for me.
So something there to think about.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
Now here's Ken. I really get a feeling, a sense that I'm being taken 200 years back.
Absolutely. I mean, it just makes me think of Venice or, you know, some kind of classical painting. But my only concern is I wish you'd put some people in, because at the moment it feels very stationary. Even the boats feel very sort of still. And here there's so much life going on. There's lots of people around, and I just wish that he'd included some of that in this painting.
And this is Faye's. It's so pretty. Now, If that was the cover of a book, I would buy it. I'd buy the book.
Absolutely,
You know?
yeah, it's very attractive. And I love the colours that she's used, but the bottom right corner is troubling me a little bit. She's got this, the ramp going down to the boats, but if she'd extended some of those lines and that zigzag, it would have just made the whole picture kind of have a sense of balance, which is slightly lacking. But it is lovely.
And Ashley has been very technical, in my humble opinion, and his vanishing point, etc., looks pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. The drawing is spot on, but I think with monochromatic painting, you're sort of challenging yourself to paint the tonal values exactly as they are. And I do find that there is a bit of a problem in that the building and the sky are pretty much the same tone. If he had had the courage to just darken that building a little bit and get more of those tonal contrasts, it would have made for a more dynamic painting. But he has done brilliantly.
So, made your decision?
I have. There is one person that has stood out for me today.
It's the moment of truth. Will it be Ken's colourful but static vista? Kathy's simple composition? Faye's picture book piece? Or Ashley's moody industrial style landscape?
Congratulations, everybody. You've done a wonderful job. And fortunately, I do not have to judge the winner, but Lisa does.
Yeah, well done, everybody. You've all captured the scene in your own unique way, and I have to congratulate you all. But there can only be one winner, I'm afraid. And today's winner is Ken.
Woo!
Thank you.
Woo! Congratulations, Ken! How does that make you feel?
Well, euphoric, really. To be honest, it was a privilege to be here with such lovely watercolourists, but to actually be picked by our eminent artist is a real privilege. It's an honour that what I've done, how I constructed the painting, has appealed. So it's a thrill, and thank you very much.
Well done, Ken, and thank you, everybody!
I wasn't a winner today, but I'm really pleased that I managed to do what I managed to do in the time that I was given.
I guess we all got to stick to, you know, our true kind of painting style, and that's what I did today, and that's what I'll continue to do. So, but yeah, definitely worthy winner.
I'm just relieved that that I managed to produce something that was okay. And yeah, Ken's picture, I think, really captured the mood.
I felt that Ken's painting had real impact in a way that maybe the others didn't. It really was a strong design, rendered in gorgeous colours, and it captured the spirit of Royal William Yard here today.
I'm absolutely thrilled. I can't believe that my paintings have pleased them, but I am thrilled to be here, and, well, to be a winner is a real bonus.
Well, there we have it. Another beautiful view and 4 more wonderful watercolours. Don't forget to join us next time when we celebrate another great British vista in another Watercolour Challenge. See you then.